Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Today I just watched a video literally last night from Camelia Crafts. She created this folio insert with a belly band from a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper. So I am always looking for a way to use my double-sided paper, and so I really enjoyed the video and the process. Super easy. So I just want to give full credit to her. Fantastic process, super fast. It uses every bit of the 12 by 12, unless you cut like your journal cards smaller, like these journal cards are sticking out of the top. I don't mind that. If you want them to tuck in, you would obviously need to trim them down a little bit more. So in my prototype, I created using one of Tim Holtz's papers. And so this is the belly band. Whoops. Oh boy. I think I got a little bit of glue in there. Oops. Yeah, I got a little bit of glue. So I want to be really careful. This is just my prototype, and I think I might have, when I glued my belly band closed, I must have got some glue seepage. So that's okay. But that's what your belly band is going to look like. It's just like the sleeve from a cup. So pretty nifty. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And again, I'll link her channel because I want you to go over to her channel. She's quick, she's funny, she's just witty, a really sweet lady, and lots of really unique but simple projects for creating ephemera for your junk journal or your handmade journal. So this is what it's going to look like. So this is a folio that can either be glued in, or it could, well, in this case, it's a belly band. So you would glue the belly band down. So you'd glue this down to your base, and then this slides in there. So I literally just made this, so I'm a little bit rough around the edges. But so it opens up like this, and it's got a triangle corner pocket here. And then it's got another corner pocket here. And depending on what side of your paper you like the best, will determine which way you flip it. So we could have done it this way, and it would have been, all of this beauty would have been on the inside. So totally up to you how you want to do it. I would advise that as you're moving through it, that you look at your paper and your pieces and decide for every piece where you want that to be, because both of these triangle corner pockets could have been flipped. So totally up to you. And then the journal cards, because I chose a paper that had a pretty neutral background, I didn't need to back this with coffee dyed paper, because this is completely beautiful to write on. So those are my two cards. And again, this is just a piece of Tim Holtz paper. I honestly couldn't even tell you the collection. I've had it for a long time. So let's go ahead and make this together. Hopefully it will go better than my first time. So, but please do go check her out. I want her to get the kudos over there, and I want people to be able to go visit her channel. So this paper is from Graphics 45. It's called Pixie Prance. And so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off that branding strip. And in her video, she didn't do any measuring. I am going to do, I may, it just depends. I've got my cutter out. I don't really mind. So what you want to do is cut off, it's up to you how much you cut off. Let me get this over. So she was suggesting around 4 inches, or a third of the paper. I need to move this up. We're out of frame here. Sorry guys. There we go. That's better. So I cut off 4 inches on my last one, and I think that was a little bit too much. So I'm going to go down to 3.5 and see if I like that better. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. There we go. And then you want to save every single piece of these cutoffs, because they will be used. So this one actually makes our journal cards, and I just realized this is not, I mean, I suppose you could journal on the back of this if you used a really heavy black marker. So that's totally up to you. So the next thing that we're going to do is this is the bottom part of your 12 by 12 paper. And again, the measurements are going to be determined by how much you cut off of the top. So you're going to go ahead and fold one side in. Actually, I want to go the other way. Again, you could change your mind after you crease it. It's not a big deal. So, but I'm going to go this way because I want my fairies on the outside. So as she had indicated, optimally, you just want this fold to be longer than this. So it clearly is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back it up just a little bit here, and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a good crease. I'm trying to get that to be as even on the bottom as possible. Go ahead and get your bone folder or whatever you use to kind of do that action. Is you just really want to crease that well. So I've got my bone folder here. And then you're going to fold this one over as well. I like to leave a little bit of a gap because it just helps the folio be able to open and close better when it's in the journal. So I'm just going to fold that over. I've got about, what, a ½ inch here on the side that it's not going all the way over. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a crease here. Gentle crease at first in case you have to adjust. There we go. Go ahead and use the bone folder. There we go. I love this fairy paper. I'm big into fairies, and I'm actually going to use this fairy for part of my closure or the focal point on my belly band. These fairies are from Digital Scrap Studio, and they're fussy cut fairies. Really, really beautiful. That's what I'm going to be using, and it matches perfectly those shades, so it should be fun. So then you're going to go ahead and open this up. And what she recommended is you go ahead and ink this edge lightly because you want to be able to see where that crease is or where that fold was. And that will make more sense here in a second. There we go. So I'm going to fold back. So now we can see where our lines are. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold over. You're going to fold over each of these flaps. And I like to leave, I can't remember if she focused much on leaving a little bit of a gap on this side of the fold, but I'm going to do that just because, again, it helps the belly band the folio to close properly. So you just want to lightly crease just so that you can get a cut line. So I just creasing very lightly. On my prototype, I went ahead and inked this edge because my eyes are old and I had a hard time seeing that line. So now I can clearly see my line to go ahead and do my cut. So you're going to cut that triangle corner off, and this is going to be a corner pocket. Brilliant idea. I can't believe that we can use a whole piece of paper here and not waste anything. So we're going to do the same with this side, and again, because I inked that, I can see that fold really, really well. I'm going to go ahead and just give this a light press. Again, just to create a cut line and fold it back on itself. Do a little bit of inking just so I can see it. There we go. We're going to go ahead and cut this one off. Like so. So now this is our inside, and so this is what it's going to look like. So before you get concerned about this being so tall, because right now it is pretty tall for a journal. So it is 8.5, almost 8.5 inches, but we're going to cut some off for the belly band. So I'm going to, let me just get the exact measurement because I do want mine to be a little bit more precise to fit in my journal. So I'm thinking I want about 6.5. So I'm going to cut it at the 6.5 mark. I'm going to just bring my cutter back over here. And, wrong way. That would be a tragedy. So let's see, about 6.5. The belly band on here I thought was a decent size. I think it measured, what did it measure? 2 inches. So maybe we should go with 2 inches. Let me just do that and see. It was a good size. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 2 inches. So again, you're going to set that aside. That's going to be the belly band. We'll come back to that. So the next thing you want to do is go ahead and, I would suggest going ahead and doing some inking. So I'm going to ink all of these bits, not this extra piece because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to cut it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and ink all this. I'll speed through that so you don't have to watch that process. I'm sure you know how to ink. You don't have to. Okay, so those are inked. I'm going to get rid of these crumbs that frustrate me. In case you're wondering about my little mats here, my surface is different. So, and it's got these cute little flowers on the edge. This is from Altenew, and it's a silicone mat. They're 2 silicone mats, so I have them met in the middle. And what I love is they stay stuck to my table, and I've really, really struggled with that, with finding something to work on. And they're also pretty, so that's fun. So we've got that. And so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and glue in our little pockets. So what I did on the last one is these are all kind of going weird ways. So I'm just going to put it like this. I put it on the other side on the other one just because it made more sense with the design that was showing. So I'm going to do that one that way, and I'm going to do the green. I think I want to trim this one down a little bit. My folds were a little bit farther over, so I got similar size triangles here. So I'm going to cut this green one down just a little bit. Give me just a second. You certainly don't have to do that, but I want that variation. I want that smaller corner pocket here. So there we go. So now we can see more of that. So we're going to go ahead and glue these on. So you want to glue on, so the pocket's going to sit like this. My little fairy's upside down. That's okay. I guess directional paper is another thing you'd want to consider when choosing your paper. So I like to hold it right here so that I know where I'm actually gluing and what side is open. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue. This is Art Glitter Glue. I'm going to run a glue bead. Whoops. I don't get my fingers in it, along both of those edges. And then we're going to put this in place. And just like my folds, I don't want it to butt up right to that edge. So let me show you up close how far away that is. So you see the gap that I've left here. I like the look of that anyway, even if don't have something that's folding on top of that. I like the look. So then we're going to go ahead and put this pocket on. Corner pocket. So again, it's going to go this way, so I'm going to grab here and I'm going to run my bead of glue on these 2 sides. I want to figure out how to do this with digital paper. So well, I guess the folio, you could make the folio out of any paper. This is just the concept of this is being able to use your 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, but I'll definitely be doing this so that I can use my digital papers, which are copy paper size. So, and again, I want to see that because I want to be able to see there's a differentiation there. So I like to kind of stagger them. So there's our pockets. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and work on our journal cards. So this is one thing well, for starters, we've got our fairies going. Well, they go all over the place on the original paper. So I guess there's really no way to get around that. But you want to be thinking about how tall, if you want your journal cards to stick out. In this case, I'm going to make them not stick out, at least not the paper part. So I'm going to go ahead and do a mark, if I can find my pencil here in my little basket. Where's my pencil? Oh goodness, it's the bottom, right? Figures. All right, guys. Oh my goodness, my fingers aren't, it's Saturday. The fingers are not supposed to be working. So, and I'm raising it up a bit because I had trouble, my pocket stuck out more because of the glue line here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut about here on this one. So let me just get my trimmer here and cut that off right there. And then I am going to cut this one down. I don't want them to be, they're almost the same size, so I'm going to cut this one down a little bit. Totally up to you what you want that to look like. The other thing you get to decide is if you want your corners rounded or not. I'm going to round my corners. I like that look. I also think these would be really cool rounded, but again, that's completely up to you. So I'm just going to get my little corner rounder here. Nice journaling space. Now, I personally would probably opt, if I was making this all for myself, I would probably back this because this is super dark to write on, but it's neither here nor there. You can decide what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and ink this up, and I'll speed through that. Okay, those are inked. And so, so again, typically your, gotta get rid of the crumbs. Typically your larger card would go in the back. So I'm just gonna stick that in there gently. It can go farther in once it's glued, but I'm just gonna kind of set it there. And then, you know, I could choose to have that out, but well, in fact, in this case, just for the view, I'm gonna go ahead and put it like so, whoops, in this pocket. And again, I'm not forcing it in there because the glue is still wet. So there we go. So that closes up nicely like so. So now we can work on our little belly band. I love this. I almost want to do this opposite. I'm gonna do that because it's gonna stick out the top. It can stick out the top, probably just for photos when I go ahead and take my pictures of the project. So we'll do that. Lovely. So now we're going to put our belly band on, or glue our belly band. So what you want to do with your belly band is you want to score it a little bit because it's you need a little bit of a bend here beyond the fold that you've already created. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little mark. I'm just going to use my ruler and my scoring tool. You could totally use your scoreboard if you wanted to, but it doesn't have to be much. I'm going to go ahead and fold that just so that you can see, if I can. Might not have been even deep enough. I'm going to get the scoreboard out. That didn't really even make an impression. So here we go. It's just a little bit big for my space here, so I'm going to go ahead and just line it up and make a quick score line here. Oops, it's not working. There we go. Just because you want that little bit of extra, you can see that, because this is my original fold and this is the extra. So that's good. In fact, I'm going to ink that just so I can continue to see it. And then we're going to do the same with this side. So it seemed to work well to line the already folded part up to a measurement and then come to the next slot and do a scoring. Scoreboards and me don't get along very well, probably just because I haven't really used it a lot, but they're pretty handy. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a fold too. That was perfect. I'm going to go ahead and ink that just so I can continue to see it. You don't have to do that. My eyes are old. So now we want to, for me, I would just go ahead and use, have this be the outside because of the pattern that I chose for the front. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and lay your folio on top of here and then close this. And you want it to be, you want to kind of test it and determine, is it going to slide in and out? And even with my finger in there, that's perfect because you don't want it to get, you don't want to have to force it. So, because that's going to mess up with the integrity of your page. So we're going to go ahead and ink the edges of this and then we'll glue her together and we'll be done. So super fast project, even with all of my yakking. So I hope that you'll give it a try. Super fun. I like mine heavily inked, so I work really hard at that. So we're going to go ahead and put this, and then you want to also decide, obviously, which flap you want to have over. They're similar in that there's only this much of a difference, but I'm going to go this route. And then go ahead and put this in place, wrap around again. And the other thing you can do is go ahead and trim off some of this. So I'm going to trim off about that much, just so that it's kind of in the middle. Hopefully that's in the middle. Forgot about that part, guys. That's the only, and it's not really a wasted piece. I didn't waste that piece when I trimmed it on the last one. So we'll see if we can incorporate that just so that we can use all of the bits of that piece of paper. So again, getting that back in place if I can. And then I'm going to go this way because I want this to be the center, and it's mostly in the center. Not exactly, but now we're going to go ahead and glue this. So I think what I need to do is just not go quite so close to the edge. That was the problem that I had on the last one. So I'm going to just run a bead of glue here. You might want to move this off of your project to glue, but I feel okay and confident about it. Just going to go ahead and do that. I'll take it back off just so I make sure that I don't get that glue stuck. You know what I mean. So we're just going to fold that over like that. Give it a good press. And then I'm going to put my fingers on the inside so I don't run into that same problem with that glue oozing. There's no glue there, which is good. So that's our little front closure. This fairy is a little bit big, but I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ink her up a little bit. She needs to be vintagey like the rest of it. I would highly recommend this shop, the Digital Scrap Studio, because these fussy cut images are pretty detailed and they were not difficult to cut out. So I would highly recommend them. They do sell, each of the color of fairies is a separate file, which was a little frustrating. I would have rather had the option to buy one digital set and have all those in there, but she sells them by color, which is perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead and put her on top. Oh, isn't she so adorable? Oh my gosh. I am going to make a mark so that I know where my glue needs to go. I always struggle with that, so I'm just going to make a mark here and here. And we're just going to put some glue on her. I want to put a considerable amount because this is like, it's not the closure in that it's not closing that belly band, but it is going to take some pressure in the journal. So there we go. And put our little fairy on. Love this paper. If I can get it. Now I have to turn it over so I can see where I need to glue. There we go. I can move it if I need to. Just generally speaking. There we go. Like if you wanted her to stand up more, you have to rotate, which I'm trying to rotate, but my glue is already drying. So there we go. So that is that. So let's go ahead and we're okay to put the belly band on now because I know that it's dry inside. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in, slide it on up, and voila. Look at that beauty. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is so easy. So I'm not embellishing a bunch on this because it's just kind of a sample. But if I were to do this going forward, I would probably maybe put a little bit of lace and a button here, or put a little bit of, put some words on it or something. But for now, I'm just going to leave this as it is. Really cute. And again, you would just glue this to the page in your journal, and then you'd just be able to open this up like that. And there are so many variations to the inside of this because you could actually put a little like a little pamphlet. Oh my gosh, a little notepad right here. You could sew that in so that when you opened it up, you actually had a writing space. You could actually do a writing pad the full length of this and put your pockets on the sides, your triangles. So I'm looking forward to playing around with different ways that I can that I can do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you'll hop on over and give Camelia Crafts some love. I want her to get the credit. Obviously, I did not think this up. I cannot think this stuff up. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.